everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today's video we're actually doing bee stuff, unlike the last video, but we're gonna go through, hopefully this hive. We're gonna see really what happens actually though, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 supers. I don't think, probably maybe like 3 of them are actually full, but this is one of our out yards and we tend to just add like as many supers as we can before we leave the yard, just because we don't know when we're always going to get back to that yard, and this is one of those that time of the year that we're kind of out of town randomly and just we want to make sure that they have plenty of space. So we're going to see what's going on here. I think this one says cut comb, so if I can, we're going to try to get to that one, but if these ones are full, that's going to be really hard. But I thought it would be fun to actually go through like a nice good colony. But if that doesn't end up working out, we'll just go through a single instead. So it's July 8th. I know some people always wonder like what day we film these videos. And I'm gonna try to get better about that, about saying the actual day that I film it, just so people know. But this time of the year, I think we talked about maybe, I'm not really good with the plants and flowers, but sumac is like kind of there right now. It's not really like something we count on. I know milkweed is still kind of out there. They're not usually out on that very much, but this year they seem to be, so I don't know. But like, it's nothing big, so we're not like worried about keeping supers on. We're just slowly pulling them as time goes by. And then also, the robbing is really weird. Like, we'll have some honey laying out just to kind of see what ends up happening if they rob it or not. And right now they are, but like yesterday they weren't. So it's just, or like 2 days ago they weren't. So it's just weird. We never really know what's going on, but it's just off and on. So we don't always count on a fall flow. I say that every year, but I don't rely on it whatsoever because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I also hate fall honey, so I don't really care for it. So we just give that to the bees if we can, but they should be pretty happy today, but we're gonna find out. So I can't really see that, I'm not gonna lie. There is a super right here I could probably stand on. It actually looks like it might be full, but we usually, I forget what it's called, but we usually stack the heavy ones on top. That way the new ones are right here so they can start filling it immediately. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, one of the things, I don't know if you noticed about the cut comb, I think I've talked about this before, but we always keep one normal medium above the brood nest and then the cut comb, and that just helps to make sure that we're not getting all of the pollen in that cut comb, because it's not very pretty that way. That's only on a single though, so like there's a double over there. We wouldn't do it on that one just because they have 2 brood boxes. If I could get this off, that'd be great. Okay, we're gonna see if I can pull this off. And it looks like it's pretty full. They've even got some comb on the top here. Okay, we're good. Yeah, that's pretty full. Maybe I should pull one out. Let's pull one out of here though. These look really good actually. But like I said, if I did it right last time we were here, these should be the heaviest ones. So the lighter ones should be on the bottom, or hopefully they're actually all full. That would be great. That looks beautiful. It looks really nice. So that actually might be, it looks like the whole super is like that. And it looks like that one's the same way too. That one might be a little messy in the middle there because we had some foundation on these. So let's look at that frame actually. Usually we keep 2 foundation frames in the middle just so we're at least getting something built out, because we always want new comb. So it looks like they drew this one out. So they got that one pretty good. It looks really nice. So that's fresh, brand new. That's gonna be really nice. So even though like, this might be a little bit of an earlier super, I don't know, but like when it's early season like that, we're trying to get the honey like the black locust, we'll put supers on that are drawn. That way we can get it like immediately and they don't have to go through and draw it out and everything. They just can clean it up a little bit and then start filling it immediately. But later in the year, we start putting in some foundation because we still want to get drawn comb at some point in the year. I know Cayman has a ton of really good videos on how to do that, and So I guess go look at his channel, but okay, this is like really full here. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm just making sure I was right there. Also, I'd like to go through, like, after maybe a couple days to a week of having a 10 frame super on there, I like to go through and pull out one of those frames, and then you can get a 9 frame, oh, what's that called? Separator thing with divider. I don't know. I don't have one with me, but it basically just evens them out perfectly. Now, you can just use your Hive tool. That's what I do, because I find the dividers to be really hard. I don't know why. I just can't figure them out. I think it might be our propolis, but also if you haven't put it on yet and they haven't propolized it, you can just shake it and it'll even them out perfectly. But the reason we do that later on is so it makes it a lot easier to do our uncapping, because uncapping honey when it's not like thick like this, so it's good to look at it from the top here. Like, this is really thick and it comes out a little bit, so it's going to be really easy to uncap, and it won't ruin the comb, because when it is like, when it's more like packed in there and it's harder to uncap it, we have to use a different tool and it's just annoying. So that's why we pull out a frame and put 9 in there, is so that way it gives them a little bit more space to build it out bigger. Looks like the next one is also full, so let's pull that out. But we're gonna hopefully be pulling honey here soon, which is gonna be a fun process, but it's still crazy hot outside. It's like 1,000,000 degrees today. Let me see if I can, I don't know, because it looks like there was a lot of comb connected to the bottom of this. If they haven't filled out these next few, I might actually add another one just in case. But like, I also have no idea what's going on in that brood nest right now. I would love to find out, but I also don't really want to pull all of these supers off. It doesn't help that they're so high too. People always ask why we keep them so close to the ground, and that's why, because we're all short. Well, at least I am, and me and my mom. Okay, so this is all like, all built out, it looks like, and it doesn't look like it's all capped, but it's definitely full. And then we've got all of this up top here, so that's going to be fun to put back on. I'm definitely going to smoke them, get them off of that comb, and then we'll save that for after the video. A little snack for sure. Also, we have been testing a lot of the honey, but most of it seems to be really good, and you can kind of figure it out just by the texture of it. So like, this is really thick. Like, it's just barely dripping off. I mean, it should always drip off a little bit, but it looks really thick. And normally when it's not, it'll just start gushing out of that really easily, and you'll know. So I haven't been testing every single super, just because I know that a lot of it's, I mean, it's capped, so it's good, right? I can't say that, that's totally controversial. But anyways, we'll also test it after we've extracted all of it and it's in the bucket. That way, once all the honeys are mixed together, we kind of get an idea of where it's at. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a few videos on just refractometers and why we use them and all of that. Gee whiz, okay. Let's pull this one off too. I'm really curious to see how many of these are full, but having to put all of these back on is gonna really suck. We're just gonna talk about everything today. So these are plastic frames. For some weird reason, our bees tend to like them a lot. I absolutely hate them, especially when it comes to extracting. I don't know what it is, but there's just a little bit of a size difference between the wooden ones and the plastic, and just the way that they're laid out. So when you put it in, like, we're always switching around extractors, and so the one we're using right now, it doesn't do very well with 9 frames. I don't know why. They don't fit in there very well. And they also, oh yeah, with plastic ones, my bad. And they also chip really easy, which really sucks. And I'm usually not too rough with them, but I want to be able to pull them out quick and then throw them into the extractor. And they tend to just crack. I don't know why. But I think they're cheaper, and they're definitely a lot easier because you don't have to put the foundation in, and also most of them you don't. At least I don't know how that works, but that looks really nice. I mean, they love it. So we still have a few in there. They're just kind of like randomly put out. Some of them have a whole super full of plastic ones. Others have like 4 or 5 frames like this one. But personally, I don't recommend them too much. I'm gonna pull this one off just so we can check that comb, because I actually haven't checked any comb honey in a while. And I'm curious to see if they've drawn that out. I talk about it all the time and I have a lot of videos on it, but it's just really popular right now. And it's one of our, I don't know if it's our top seller, but it's definitely like close to that. And a lot of people like it. So it was a little scary at the beginning of the year because they didn't seem to build it out too much, but this one looks a little bit better. Comb honey is just hard because they're really starting from nothing and they have to build all of that out, and they just do whatever they want. So sometimes it's not built out beautifully, but okay, so this almost looks like drone comb. It's pretty big and they haven't capped it all yet, but we'll leave it on for a little bit longer. I'm gonna pull out one of these middle frames and see if they've drawn that out. So usually with comb honey, we don't use it and put it into our jars unless, or containers, unless it's fully capped. And that's just because of the look of it, because people want it to be fully capped. So it's not completely capped here, but maybe they'll eventually get to it. But we could get at least one from right here, maybe 2 or 3. Now, one of the things you can do if it's not fully capped is chunk comb, is what we call it. So that just goes into a jar, like a little mason jar filled up with honey. And those actually sell really well because people like the honey, but they also want to try the comb. And there's a lot of honey in that one. But that's what we can do when it's uncapped like that, because the look doesn't matter as much. But I'm not going to put just like uncapped comb in there. I want there to be at least a little bit. But like I could cut out this little piece and put that into a jar because you really don't need that much for a jar. So this is still useful and we'll still use it. But I think hopefully if we leave it on a little bit longer, they might fill it, but I'm not sure. It's just, you never know with comb. So yeah, it looks like more of the left side is filled out. So we'll be able to get a little something from that. Okay, well it looks like this bottom super is also full from just looking down into those frames. So we're gonna probably put another super on. Probably gonna come back actually and hopefully pull these supers, and then we'll just throw new ones right on. I'll throw drawn ones on just so if there is something out there, they can go ahead and fill it up. I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna put these back on off camera because it's not gonna be very pretty. And I'm not gonna leave them out for too long because I don't want any robbing to happen, but they seem to be pretty chill so far. If it was really bad, there would just be a swarm of bees right now. So I think there's a little something out there. I've also noticed that our home yard and this out yard is very different compared to our flows. This one always seems to be a little bit earlier, and it also seems to just always have something out there. I don't know what it is, so there might be something out there right now. Anywho, I think that's all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together, hopefully. But I think that's it for, so thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.